Please.
And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to have a quick moment of silence for the Penn Hills paramedic fireman that got killed in the line of duty, Nick Theopolis. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mr. Long,
Here.
Mr. Craig,
Here.
okay, I'm gonna mess up your last name, Mr. Pitch.
Yes.
Hey,
You got it.
Dr. Carpenter,
Present.
Ms. Showalter,
Present. President
President Suchovich,
Present.
Solicitor Alexander.
Here.
Mayor Recupero,
Here.
Mr. Flota.
Here.
Ms. Goodall, sorry.
Thank you. Are there any emergency additional agenda items? Nothing? No registered comments from the public? We put a new thing in here. Comments from the public. There'll be two different times that you can have comments from the public. So at this time, if there's any comments from the public, council hear public related items, please approach a podium or raise your virtual hand. State your name and address and limit your comment to 3 minutes.
I actually already passed it down. So you can see this.
Hello.
No, you push it up, push it all the way up, the button all the way up.
There we go. Is that on?
That's it. Yeah.
Okay. My name is Mike Rabacki, 716 Allegheny River Boulevard, 3rd floor, Verona. Regarding the issue of raising fines and tickets brought up during the last workshop meeting, I would express concern if the fines and tickets were in an amount much above the administrative cost to process them. I think it would be right for a court to decide what amount above the administrative cost should be for which a person shall be fined and or ticketed. It may be that a court precedent has already been set for certain tickets and fines, but even so, lest anybody accuse the borough of setting fines in an arbitrary and capricious manner and take the borough to court over that, unless anybody get the idea that the borough is setting fines well beyond the ordinary administrative costs to administer them, in order to raise funds by circumventing the normal budgetary process, which is to cut costs and to raise taxes. In my opinion, I think that Verona Borough would do well by steering clear of judging what fines and tickets should be, if beyond what the normal administrative costs are in administering them. By the same token, Verona Borough may do well by raising all fines and tickets which are below the administrative costs of administering them, because in those cases, the taxpayers would be on the hook for paying the difference on a fine or ticket, which is too low. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Nothing, Vince, on virtual?
No virtual hands.
Everybody else, thank you. Comments from advisory boards and commissions, we have none. Approval of minutes and monthly financials,
Which do you want to do first?
started off.
Okay, good evening, everyone. I have a few highlights to talk about in our financials. In the month of November, our income was 104,198. Our expenses were 166,122. So our net was negative 61,923. This is pretty normal for this time of year, that we generally have more expenses than income. So far, as of November 30th, in the whole year of 2022, we have a net income of $546,000 and approximately $546,000. That is 413% over budget, which is good. That's really good. Not quite sure how we did that, But that's really good. In terms of major receipts for the month of November, we got $34,748 of earned income tax and $10,000, $10,147 of regional sales tax. Major expenditures made for the month of November was $51,804 for our MMO for the police pension. The VOP trail, $14,804. Salt, approximately $8,000, and money for the shed, the temporary shed was $7,800. So I will make a motion then to pay the bills.
First by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Craig. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It passed. Thank you. Approval of minutes. We have the approval of the minutes for October 25th and November 15th minutes. I'll take a motion for that.
Make a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion by Mr. Floto, second by Ms. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Passed. Thank you. Down to reports. I have nothing at this time. Mayor Recupero?
Would like to wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and a blessed New Year. And like to thank everyone that is involved in the community. There's too many different organizations to mention. I don't want to forget anybody. Just like to thank everyone that has come out and done good for the community and served the community. So happy holidays and Merry Christmas and a blessed New Year. That's all I have.
Thank you. Borough Manager's report, Stephanie.
Yes, I just have a few quick things. First, I just want to report, I'm sure everyone has seen or heard about the financial issues that Lower Valley Ambulance is currently having. We're not here tonight to discuss those. We're waiting on their next steps and what ours will be at this point. What I'm here to do is reassure everybody that in the community that there's an ambulance here for you. If you call 911, somebody is going to come and get you. As the weeks progress, we will get more information that we will share with everyone. Just know that this is part of our responsibility as in a borough, and we will make sure there's medical assistance for our residents. The other thing, Botany and Booze, we will be working in the next few weeks with Botany and Booze to get together their permits and part. They are looking at doing one day, 2 separate sessions. So look for more information about that coming in January. And last but not least, happy holidays. And just so you know, our offices are closed Monday, December 26th and Monday, January 2nd.
Thank you.
Mr. President, I
Yes.
forgot to mention, this Saturday, the Verona Fire Department, along with the Verona Police Department, it'll be the 3rd annual Santa Claus on the fire truck. And Santa Claus, I'm presuming he's gonna be ready to go. And that's gonna hit every street in Verona. This will be our 3rd annual riding on the truck with Santa Claus. So I'd like to thank the fire department also for coming out and joining us.
What time?
I'm sorry, 12 o'clock, and I believe it's gonna start on 4th Street.
So-
And 4th Street up on top of the hill. We'll hit every road.
So Lower Verona will be toward the end of the.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I won't be in it this year with my characters because of my arm. So, thank you.
Thank you. Code enforcement, Stephanie.
I just had a quick report. We had 12 notices of violations go out this month. We will be working closely with making sure everything gets done. My plan is to set up a system here so we can follow things through a little bit better.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything on that? Police chief's report?
Yes, complaints received 144, total crimes reported 16, total crimes cleared 13, total persons arrested 6. Or vehicle code summaries 2. Borough parking tickets 25. Magistrate fines collected $206.95. Borough fines and fees collected $160. Police reports purchased $30. Total fines and fees collected $396.95. And parking permit fees $45. That's it.
As was, I have to tell you, the amusement device permit fees are back. Those were taken out in 2020 due to COVID, so. we're gonna get that out. $13,200.
Thank you. Fire chief's report, DMT.
Hey, Dan.
Hi, Dan.
The fire company answered a total of 8 calls in the month of November. 11-3 residential structure fire at 829th Street, Penn Hills. 11-6 transformer explosion at Wildwood Avenue at State Street in Verona. 11-14 brush fire at 1200 Halton Road in Penn Hills. 11-17 a vehicle accident on Allegheny River Boulevard in Verona on Vida. 11-21 commercial fire alarm, 1 Daily Way in Verona. 11-22 a vehicle versus pedestrian accident, 731 Allegheny River Boulevard in Verona. 11-23 commercial fire alarm at 530 Jones Street in Verona. And 11-25 carbon monoxide report at 1 Moore Drive, apartment 703 in Verona.
Anybody have anything for Dan?
Dan, this is another pedestrian collision. Do you have any more information on that one?
Yeah, so the, this one and the last one that was also on the boulevard, both cases
Mhm.
are, the individuals are across the road, in the middle of boulevard, not crosswalk.
Between center and south?
Yeah, this one was between center and south, right around the copy.
Mhm.
They just kind of ran out the road.
You know, we've talked about like how Oakmont has some pedestrian walkways in the middle of their stretch. And I think we didn't come up with a conclusion because it would wipe out like 2 parking places, I guess. Because, you know. and-
Plus, we didn't have the space in the middle to put the channelizer.
Yeah, I don't think they really have them in the middle of the blocks, because everywhere there's a crosswalk, there's actually a street that goes up somewhere. Yeah, they're all-
Not the one by the bank. I use it all the time. There's no street there.
That's, yeah.
Yeah. By the train station.
Yeah, but I don't know. I just think if there's some way we could get creative about having something,
Yeah.
because no one is gonna walk all the way to center or south to cross the street if they're parking in the middle.
This
Right.
one though, they couldn't stop it. They couldn't stop it. They had to walk across.
Okay,
Anybody else have anything for Dan?
No, I just agree. A mid-block crossing option seems necessary.
yeah.
Thanks, Dan.
Thanks, Dan.
Lower Valley EMS report.
They had 25, calls. 5 ALSs, 8 BLSs, 2 false calls. And 3 canceled.
Very good, thank you. Anybody have anything for EMS? Solicitors report, Mr. Alexander?
Thank you. I submitted a written report. It's in your packet. I don't have anything further to add to my report. I just want to wish Mayor and Council and everybody a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, all the residents of Verona as well.
Thank you. Anybody have anything for Mr. Craig Alexander? Thank you. Engineers report, Mr. Pitch.
Thank you. Just to highlight a few items on my report, the PA small water and sewer for the storm sewer, televising and condition rating. That got underway this week, so if you see the Robinson pipe truck around, that's what they're doing. They made it up to the ARB area. They started on Lower Verona, so they'll be back the rest of this week, heading up the hill. the CDBG Wildwood culvert over there by B&D Motors. The contractor has his material order. It looks like it's supposed to be in next week, so if you start seeing machinery and some equipment over there, that's what that work's going to be done. Two other items real quick, the 2022 GEDF applications we put in. We were awarded one of them, that is for the road reconstruction on Center Avenue. We only received about half the grant that we requested, so we'll look at the scope and figure things out. We're probably still about a year away from that project actually moving forward though. And then the 2022 PA small water and sewer applications, they're items C and D on the agenda for passing a resolution and a funding commitment letter. And that is just the other GEDTF application we submitted was for sanitary sewer lining. So this PA small water and sewer pretty much mirrors that since we weren't successful with that one.
Thank you.
I have a couple questions. Matt, I forget what you had said, and maybe it's in front of me, but do we, for the alley reconstructions we're doing in the spring, do we need to do something now, put out a call for bids now in order to start in the spring?
I'll be getting it together here soon, so probably in the late January, early February, it can hit the paper and be advertised. I have to double check with the COG just to make sure that all the grant paperwork and contracts are okay on that side. But I'll make sure we're good to go that way. Early spring, the contractor can get started.
Awesome. And my second question, which I don't know if you know, the status of the replacement cover in the borough parking lot for the Oakmont water.
I have to follow up with Oakmont. I did have a conversation with them. They're normal, they call those Crocs. They're normal
Croc.
ones they use. They can get a steel lid for it, but the interior is still PVC.
Mhm.
So we were talking about some ideas. I talked to AJ about it because there's some things like that. Almost are like manhole lids and risers that we could possibly use. So we'll work with them to try to see what we can come up with. I understand it's not their standard thing on the shelf, but I know there's products out there that they could be used.
And they also just they just switched supervisors over there, so I think things are, they're still getting caught up on things. We did a lot with them in street over.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they still have the over by Billy K's there to fix, which unfortunately with timing and everything probably won't be till spring.
Right, well, they got a lot of streets they gotta fix, but. Anything else?
No, thanks for,
Anybody else
Keeping
for
on
any,
us.
Mr. Pitch? All right, thank you, Matt. Committee reports, Finance Committee, Nancy. We got
Okay.
3 things here.
Yeah, don't have much to add. The information about the contracts is in Mr. Alexander's report. As far as I know, we're looking to finish up some negotiating with DPW and meet with the police hopefully early next week. And potentially maybe have an exec session early next week after we talk to them. It's an idea that I like the sound of. We need to get moving on this, but we're getting there. It's a slow process. Back and forth, so, but we're getting there. So in terms of, I put down budget because there were just some things that I wanted to say and have been thinking about in regards to some of the discussion that has gone on about the budget back and forth between us and with the residents of the community. So I wrote down some thoughts. So here goes. I've been chair of finance since, I don't know, early October, something like that. Not a very long time. Slightly longer than Stephanie's been here. But I didn't know much about, what needed to be done at the time, and I was away for a significant time in October. But as the time has gone on and I've come to this present day, I've really thought a lot about how important it is to oversee how our taxpayer monies are being spent. And I take that responsibility very seriously. So, in 2023, we will be having finance committee meetings, hopefully sometime on the fourth Monday of the week to accommodate the other members of the committee. Been working with public safety, but if it doesn't work for you guys to change, we'll just have our meeting earlier. So we'll work that out. When the finance committee meets, we're going to be working on several policies. Not the least of which is establishing a minimum fund balance policy that we want to have with our budget in the future. I think, but I'm not sure, that the purchasing policy was discussed but never passed, but if it was passed, then that's great. I think it also might be important, and I'll talk more about this in a minute, to possibly have a policy about going to Seven Springs and how we might deal with that, given our situation with our finances now. Also a policy for sewer fund repayment, policy for use of borough resources for, community groups. How much do we want to give to community groups? And also look very closely at our capital plan and see, what we're going to do with that. So there's a lot for us to do. Red and Tim. So I've been thinking and thinking and thinking about this budget and the fact that it is in the red by about $88,000, and it's been difficult because one day I'm thinking I'm going to vote no on this, just to say that that's my way of commenting about it. And then I think, well, it's just this year, so I'll go along and get along, go along. It doesn't matter how I vote, the budget's gonna pass, that's clear to me. So, but I have some thoughts about a couple of things that have been brought up. One has to do with the newsletter. And I agree that as the newsletter goes forward, especially as we support the newsletter this year, for the last year, which everyone has agreed to, but that has to be nonpartisan. There can be nothing partisan in the newsletter. And I think that the newsletter people agree with that. And they're working to become self-sufficient. The newsletter is very important to a lot of people in the community. And the volunteers have worked very hard on the newsletter, and I would hate to just pull out the rug from underneath them. So I can see why we wouldn't want to, give any money for all of the reasons that people have said. But I also understand that we don't want the newsletter to end, and that the only way for them to be able to continue is if we support them this year. And this will be the last year. Another thing that's come up has been Seven Springs. And I thought about this quite a bit. And again, I get that going to Seven Springs, especially in 2021, was not a good look. We had no money, and it's not time for us to go to educational seminars, no matter what. So that was very important in 21. It was also important in 22. It was closed in 20 through COVID. And so just want people to keep in mind that by not going for 3 years, we saved the borough $30,000 approximately over that time period. Another thing that came to my attention was that if we chose to, we could be paid as council people. We could be paid, I think the borough code says something like $130 per month per council person. That's what my preliminary research has told me. If we chose that, each council person would get $1,560 a year. Whoop-de-doo. But when we go to Seven Springs, which is our payment, it's approximately $1,000 per council person. So we're actually saving money. That's kind of an odd way to look at it, but the other thing is it is an educational seminar. Although there are fun things to do at night, I know for myself, the 2 times I have gone, one at my own expense, I have learned a lot from being there. So I think that when I said about a policy for going to Seven Springs, maybe we want to look at just going every other year. Maybe we want to look at, you know, half the people go one year and half the people go the other year. Something like that. I don't know what the answer is right now. But
So I think that's something we should probably say for workshop, like all of us, this is.
yeah, no, I'm not saying we're going to discuss that now.
We are, you are.
She's
No,
not.
these are my
Oh, okay.
comments, okay? But when you look at the total expenditures that's proposed in our budget, and you look at spending $10,000 on us going to Seven Springs this year, it's 0.57% of our expenditures. It's a little more than 0.5%. So I think this year, 2023, it's probably worth us going and learning some things. And the other thing to keep in mind is that just about every borough from Allegheny County goes to ALUM. And it's an important,
Networking.
networking is important. I do have that written in here somewhere.
Mhm.
Anyway, so I just wanted to mention those 2 things in particular. Do I like having a negative balance in our budget? No, not at all. I don't like that. And, but it looks like, and especially given what I just said, what our net income is so far for the end of November, that we're in a pretty good place. But going forward, having our budget be in the red is not sustainable. And I would not consider beyond this year voting for us having a negative budget in the future without finding some way to raise the money. Seems like the basic way that places raise money is through taxes. But if people have other ways to raise money for a borough, I'm all ears. I think that there are a lot of things on our wish list that are going to be handled this year. But there are a lot of things on our wish list that we are not getting. And we have to keep that in mind. If people want the things that are on this wall going forward, we got to pay for it somehow. Inflation affects us as well as every individual as well. I think Stephanie has done an amazing job on the budget, given the time that she's had and the information that she's had to work with. And, but I just want to make sure that everybody realizes that we are passing a budget that has negative $88,000. And I'll be a last minute vote one way or the other. It's probably not going to matter what I do in terms of my vote, but I appreciate everybody listening. I just wanted to get those thoughts out and address some of the concerns that came from the audience over the course of the last couple of 3 weeks or whatever.
Very good, Nancy. Thank you.
So one more thing then, after saying all of that, there's something that was started here back with Christine called Strategic Management Planning Program, STAMP. It's a very supportive program. It is administered through DCED, which is a wonderful organization. And I talked to the person who took over Mike Foreman's spot, Bethany Williams, and she had a lot of the information from us already, from Christine. And she offered to come at our workshop in January and give us a presentation, which she said would be about 15 minutes.
Okay.
So I would like to just make sure that everybody is open to hearing what she has to say.
Yep,
Yes.
And I will call her back unless you want to, Stephanie, either way. And let her know that it's a go,
Okay.
and we'll schedule her for January 31st.
very good. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Nancy. Recreation, community
Oh.
events.
Hold on, one more
Yeah.
thing. Happy holidays to everybody, and I hope you have a great new year.
You. Next up, recreation and community events, Mr. Craig.
Nothing at this time. I mean, happy holidays to everyone. Safe holidays.
Thank you. Next up, public safety, Mrs. Provenza.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. President, and good evening, everyone. First of all, I'd like to thank everyone for your patience in the delay of our newsletter. We have to wait for the budget for approval. For the ads and articles for the spring 2023 issue, it will be due Wednesday, February the 1st. And the spring issue is going to cover newsworthy articles in the months of March 1st, April, and May 31st. Now, please, if you would limit your articles and their size to make them a little shorter as possible. We're trying to really limit the size of our newsletter to 17 pages. And we thank you for that, and we appreciate it. Historical Society, there will be no meeting in December, since there's going to be a Christmas party this Thursday, December 15th, at the Olive Garden in Pittsburgh Mills. Our next meeting is going to be held on Thursday, January the 19th. It will be a movie and movie to be announced. And you can also check the website for more information, and that would be DurhamHistory.org. Borough Ministries, the community dinner is going to be held tomorrow from 4:30 to 6:30 at Verona Methodist Church, and will be hosted by Riverside Community Church. Soups are available to order. You can call Shirley Davis, 412-828-3412. And lastly, ALON. ALON is going to have a legislative reception on Thursday, January the 19th at the Grand Concourse at Station Square. The cost is $65 per person, and it will include hot hors d'oeuvres and dessert. And it will be short and sweet. Oh, also, with Banner Community, I do need any information that any of you have had during the year, any improvements to the borough and projects that you did. I really need those. If you could please get them to me ASAP. I'd like to get the Banner Community finished and sent in. We do have a time limit on that.
What, do you remember the due date, Sylvia?
I believe it's January the 10th, somewhere in there. I have it somehow.
I think it's a little later in the month, actually.
I can do it next meeting, but I would like to have a house like, prepared and go ahead.
Very good. Thank you.
And if there's any questions or any comments. It's January 20th, it's the deadline to choose for the place. Thank you. If there are no questions or comments, that concludes my report. And in closing, I would like to wish our entire council here, living monument, a very blessed day. Happy and healthy Merry Christmas. And
Thank you, Sylvia.
Yes, sir, you're welcome, sir.
Next up, Communications Committee, Mr. Floda.
I have nothing at this time. I also just want to wish everybody a happy holidays and a happy, safe, and healthy new year.
Thank you. Next up, Infrastructure and Asset Management, Trish Resnick Showalter.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing formally as per my committee, but I did want to remind everyone, if you haven't already, to decide when your committee will meet for next year and let Stephanie know. Also, this is really Mr. Craig's committee. I apologize, but I wanted to make sure everyone marks your calendars, especially if you were thinking about the ALM event that Sylvia mentioned, that on Thursday, January 19th at 6:30, the VOP committee will be holding a public forum here in Verona at Steel City Rowing. So that's the same date, Thursday, the 19th at 6:30. So they're hoping that many of us attend. So that would be great if you can.
Where
Thank
is
you.
it? Did you say Steel City Rowing?
Yes.
Oh, good, I can walk.
Oh, and also echoing everyone's sentiments, happy holidays.
Thank you. Next up, Community Development Committee, Mr. Long.
I'm nothing at this time. Yeah, happy holidays, everybody.
Just to reiterate though, what Trish just said, please, if you could get me your dates for committee meetings as soon as possible, it'd be great, because we're gonna have to update the entire website here soon.
Thank
So
you.
public safety could let me know if you guys can switch to another Monday or not. That'll determine when my meeting is.
Okay. Special committees, Alon, Mrs. Provenza?
I had, and I incorporated it right with.
Okay, thank you. COG, Ms. Carpenter? Dr.
Um,
Carpenter?
The meeting is normally the last Wednesday of the month, but because of the holidays, the meeting is tomorrow night. And I will be going to that. And I believe there may be some discussion about the Lower Valley Ambulance Service at that meeting.
Probably.
And I'll bring that information back to you guys in January.
Thank you.
Thank you. Very good. On to old business, we have none. On to new business. We have a few things here that we want to get through. First thing is we need a motion to set the regular and workshop minutes for the second and the last Tuesday of every month.
I'll make a motion to have the regular and workshop meetings of the second and the last Tuesday of each month.
First by Dr. Carpenter,
I'll second it.
second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor? Against? Passed. Next thing we have is a motion to advertise regular and workshop meetings.
Make that motion.
First by Mr. Long,
Second,
second by Ms. Walter. Any questions? All in favor?
aye.
Against? Passed.
Okay, I'm sorry, didn't we just do that?
We motion we set them
And advertise.
and to advertise.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
The next, we have a motion for a resolution for PA Small Water and the Sewer Program grant.
You wanna take this matter?
It just is outlining what we're requesting from the DCD for the PA small water and sewer for this anesthetic sewer lining. It would be requesting $216,504.35.
And is this the one that this letter goes to with a match of 38,000?
Correct.
And would that be 2023 or do we think it'll be 2024?
They won't announce until probably mid-2023, and then their 2-year grants of terms.
So probably
So
24.
2024 would be the expenditure.
I'll make a motion to approve that resolution.
First by Mr. Floda, second by Mr. Craig. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Passed. Thank you. Next, we have a motion to approve matching fund commitment letter for the PA Small Water and Sewer Grant Program Grant.
I'll make that motion.
First by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mr. Floda. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Passed.
Slow down.
Sorry. You didn't hit me.
Sorry.
You told us you could do 200 words a minute.
That hardly-
You ready? You
I'm
good?
good now.
Okay.
You just needed like 1 second.
The next will be a motion to approve resolution to revise the MMO for the PA State Police pension.
we made the decision after speaking with Mockenhoff to take out the 3.5%. That the police would give, so they changed our MMO to revise to 61,000. Instead of the 54 we looked at before.
Make that motion.
First by Mr. Craig,
Oh, second,
second by Dr. Carpenter. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Passed. The next, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Next is a motion to approve resolution for Act 600 deduction or reduction, I'm sorry, for the pension, police pension contributions.
Just means we're allowing them to give 0%.
Okay,
Am I correct, Craig, with that, at 600, 0%?
Correct.
Okay, just making sure.
You can waive that on a yearly basis.
She had waited a year.
So if you want to waive it again next year, you got to pass another resolution.
right, I'll make that motion.
motion by Dr. Carpenter, second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Passed. And the next is a motion to approve the 2023 budget.
But I don't, just so you are all aware, as we were passing these resolutions, one of the things we did make sure. And when you received your budget tonight, it showed where we fixed the MMOs on the three pension funds. So that it shows up in our budget. It does not affect the bottom line. It didn't affect anything. It was a little bit of movement of, one line to another. Other than that, considering what we did in like 5 weeks, I'm extraordinarily proud. I'm excited. I mean, we know there's a lot of things that need to be done. We're not saying there's not, there's funds that need to be looked at, money's coming in that needs to be looked at, but just to have something on paper that will be ready for January 1st makes me happy, so. That's all I have to say.
Thank you again, Stephanie.
I'll make a motion, pass the budget.
Motion by Mr. Craig,
Second it.
second by Mr. Long. Any questions? Or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Against?
I'd like to just say that I have really had a conflict in my mind about this. I am going to, with reservation, say yes. But I won't do that again next year. If we're in the negative, we're gonna have to balance it.
Against? Passed. We need a motion to approve ordinance to set the 2023 tax rate.
Will not change this year, it'll be the same as it was last year. I think 9.7.
9.7. Motion by Mr. Floda, second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Against? Pass. There's one more thing I'm adding here. Since we did pass the budget and we're gonna move forward with that. We will be canceling the December workshop meeting. Unless anybody has a problem with that. Do we need to advertise that in the paper? No, okay, thank you. No motion. No. Comments from the public. At this time, we'll hear comments on public related items. Please approach the podium or raise your virtual hand. State your name and address and limit your comment to 3 minutes.
Hi,
Sherry?
sure. I actually have a question. Just on the motion to approve ordinance to set 2023 tax rate, that's 9, is that the real estate tax rate?
Yes,
Just 9.7 mils.
Yes.
that's what it was last year, Sherry.
All right.
Right.
That's all.
Okay, thank you. Nobody on virtual? Doesn't look like. At this time, I'd like to thank everyone that was involved this year with the Borough Council and the Borough of Verona. And everybody that comes to the meetings and puts their time and effort in. It's been a trying couple years. Not everybody's gonna be happy with everything we've done with the budget. We hope we've accomplished what we set out to when things happen. We're just trying to move forward, get the borough moving forward. So at this time, I'd like to thank everyone for your support. Wish everybody a happy Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year and a healthy one. And I'll take a motion to adjourn. Motion by Mr. Long, second by Mrs. Provenza. Any questions? All in favor? Against? Passed. Thank you. Merry Christmas to all. Very good.
Mr. Mayor.
Don't leave, Mr. Mayor.